Overthinking is a delay tactic, not intelligence. If you think a lot but execute little, this explains why. You have ideas, good ideas, ideas that could actually work, but you don't act on them. Instead, you think about them. You analyze, research, plan, refine, consider all the angles. What if it doesn't work? What if there's a better approach? What if I'm not ready? Let me think about this more. And weeks pass, months pass, sometimes years. The idea remains an idea, never becomes reality. And you tell yourself, I'm being smart, I'm being strategic, I'm making sure I do it right. No, you're avoiding risk by disguising it as wisdom. Overthinking isn't careful planning, it's sophisticated procrastination. I'm Mr. Reed, and this is The Standard Project. And in the next 19 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly why you overthink and how to break the pattern. Thinking feels productive. Execution feels risky. This is the core illusion of overthinking. Your brain has convinced you that thinking equals progress. More research, more planning, more analysis. It all feels like you're moving forward, but you're not. You're standing still while feeling busy. Psychologist Dr. Barry Schwartz's research shows that excessive analysis doesn't improve decision quality. It impairs it. More options and more thinking lead to worse decisions and greater dissatisfaction. Why? Because you're not optimizing. You're avoiding. Overthinking serves three hidden functions. Function 1, delays exposure to judgment. As long as you're thinking, no one can judge your work, because there is no work. The idea stays perfect in your head, protected from criticism. Function 2, protects identity from failure. I didn't fail, I just haven't executed yet. Overthinking preserves the possibility that you could succeed if you tried. Function 3, provides pseudo-progress dopamine. Research feels productive. Planning feels productive. Your brain rewards these activities. You get the satisfaction of working without the risk of failing. Dr. Gordon Flett's research reveals that perfectionism strongly correlates with procrastination. Perfectionists don't have higher standards. They have higher fear. The perfectionism manifests as overthinking. It's not ready yet. I need to think about it more. Translation: I'm afraid to expose this to reality. The 6-month comparison. Person A, overthinker. Month 1, research business models. Read 10 books. Month 2, take 3 online courses. Study successful entrepreneurs. Month 3, create detailed business plan, 50 pages, perfect projections. Month 4, refine plan. Consider more options. Research competitors. Month 5, realize plan might not be perfect. Start researching alternatives. Month 6, still planning, still thinking, still researching. Results: $0 revenue, 0 customers, 0 real-world feedback, perfect theoretical plan. Person B, executor. Month 1, basic research, 1 week. Launch minimal version, 3 weeks. Month 2, first 10 customers. Learn what they actually want. Adjust product. Month 3, 30 customers. Identify biggest pain points. Improve core features. Month 4, 75 customers. Pricing validated. Marketing approach refined. Month 5, 150 customers. $8,000 monthly revenue. Clear product market fit. Month 6, 250 customers. $15,000 monthly revenue. Scaling what works. Results: $15,000 monthly revenue. 250 customers, deep understanding of market, real business. Person A has more knowledge, person B has more wisdom, because knowledge comes from thinking, wisdom comes from doing. Educational theorist David Kolb's research shows that people learn most effectively through concrete experience, not abstract conceptualization. You can study business theory for years, but you'll learn more in 1 month of actually running a business, because reality provides feedback that thinking never can. The problem? You're waiting for clarity before action, but action creates clarity. The framework for breaking overthinking: action, feedback, clarity. 3 stages. First, take imperfect action. Second, receive real feedback. Third, adjust based on reality. This is how you exit the thinking trap and enter the execution cycle. Stage 1, take imperfect action. Start before you're ready. Launch before it's perfect. This contradicts everything overthinkers believe. Your instinct says, wait until you're ready. Wait until it's good enough. But that instinct is a trap. Dr. Gabriele Oettingen's research shows that excessive planning reduces the likelihood of taking action. The more you plan, the less you do, because your brain mistakes planning for progress. Gets reward without risk. The readiness paradox. You'll never feel ready, because readiness comes from doing, not from preparing. The first time you do anything, you won't be ready. That's normal. First presentation, you're not ready. Do it anyway. First business launch, you're not ready. Launch anyway. First content piece, you're not ready. Publish anyway. When to start? 0 to 20% ready. Too early. You'll waste effort going completely wrong direction. 20 to 40% ready. Getting there. Basic understanding present. 40 to 60% ready. Ready enough. You know the fundamentals. Start now. 60 to 80% ready. Definitely ready. You're procrastinating if you haven't started. 80 to 100% ready. Impossible to reach. Diminishing returns on preparation. Most overthinkers wait for 95%, which never arrives. High performers start at 50 to 60%. Eric Ries's lean startup methodology. Launch the minimum viable version, not the perfect version. Minimum viable equals good enough to get real feedback, not good enough to be proud of. This terrifies perfectionists, which is exactly why it works. Examples of imperfect action. Starting YouTube channel, overthinking approach, study successful channels for 3 months. Buy professional equipment. Script first 10 videos perfectly. Wait for everything to be ready. Imperfect action approach. Record 1 video on phone today. Imperfect audio. Imperfect lighting. Imperfect delivery. Post it. Learn from what happens. Writing a book. Overthinking approach. Outline for 6 months. Research extensively. Wait for perfect structure. Don't write until outline is flawless. Imperfect action approach. Write 500 words today. Rough, unclear, imperfect, but written. Tomorrow, 500 more. Build momentum. Starting a business. Overthinking approach. Perfect business plan. Market research, financial projections, website design, branding. Wait for everything to be professional. Imperfect action approach. Sell to first customer this week. Rough pitch, basic product, manual delivery. Get $1. Prove concept. Iterate from there. Fitness transformation. Overthinking approach. Research optimal program. Wait for gym membership. Buy all equipment. Read nutrition books. Start when everything is perfect. Imperfect action approach. 10 push-ups today. Right now, no equipment, no program, just action. Tomorrow, 10 more. The imperfect action rule. Launch at 60%. Learn from reality, iterate to 90%. You can't think your way to 90%. You have to act your way there. Stage 2, receive real feedback. Action generates data that thinking never can. This is the critical stage overthinkers miss. You can theorize endlessly, but you'll never know what actually works until you try. Dr. Henry Roediger's research on the testing effect shows that taking action, testing knowledge, produces dramatically better learning than passive review. Thinking about it. Action forces your brain to process information at deeper level. Thinking keeps information surface level. 4 types of feedback you can only get through action. Type 1, market feedback. Overthinking prediction. People will probably buy this product. Action feedback. Launch. 5 people buy in first week. 3 ask for specific feature. 2 want different pricing. Now you know what price works, what features matter, what messaging resonates. Can't learn this from market research, only from real customers. Type 2, capability feedback. Overthinking prediction. This will be too hard for me. Action feedback. Try it. Discover it's challenging but doable, or easier than expected. Or harder, but you're more resourceful than you thought. Now you know your actual capabilities versus imagined limitations. Can't learn this from thinking, only from attempting. Type 3, social feedback. Overthinking prediction. People will judge me negatively. Action feedback. Post content. Receive mix of responses. Some positive, some neutral, few negative, none catastrophic. Now you know. Your fear forecasting was wrong. Reality is less harsh than imagination. Can't learn this from imagining scenarios, only from real interaction. Type 4. Process feedback. Overthinking prediction. I need to follow Plan X perfectly. Action feedback. Start executing. Discover plan needs modification. Step 3 doesn't work. Step 5 is unnecessary. New step 4A is required. Now you know what actually works in practice versus theory. Can't learn this from planning, only from executing. Dr. Aaron Beck's cognitive therapy emphasizes reality testing. checking thoughts against actual evidence. Overthinking generates predictions without evidence. Action provides evidence to test predictions. Prediction accuracy comparison. After 100 hours of thinking, 30% prediction accuracy. Your brain generates fears, assumptions, and theories. Most are wrong. After 10 hours of action, 80% prediction accuracy. You've tested reality 10 times. Your predictions are calibrated to truth. The feedback rule. 1 hour of action teaches more than 10 hours of thinking. Stage 3. Adjust based on reality. Use real feedback to improve. Iterate based on what actually happened. This is where the loop completes and accelerates. You took imperfect action. You got real data. Now you improve. This improvement is based on reality, not speculation. Dr. Anders Ericsson's research on expertise shows that improvement comes from cycles of performance and feedback-driven adjustment, not from thinking about improvement, from doing, evaluating, adjusting. The adjustment cycle. Action 1. Launch imperfect version. Feedback. Customers want feature X. Price is too high. Messaging is unclear. Adjustment 1. Add feature X. Lower price 20%. Rewrite messaging. Action 2. Launch adjusted version. Feedback. Feature X works great. Price is now good. Messaging better but still not perfect. Adjustment 2. Keep feature X in pricing. Test 3 different messaging approaches. Action 3. Test messaging variations. Feedback. Messaging approach B converts 40% better than A or C. Adjustment 3. Use messaging B. Now test different audience segments. Each cycle brings you closer to optimal, through reality, not theory. Speed of iteration determines speed of improvement. Overthinker. 1 perfect launch after 6 months. Iterations 1. Feedback loops 1. Learning minimal. Version quality unknown. No real-world testing. Executor. 12 imperfect launches over 6 months. Iterations 12. Feedback loops 12. Learning extensive. Version quality high. Refined through 12 reality tests. After 6 months, the executor's version 12 is far superior to the overthinker's theoretical version 1, because it's been tested and adjusted 12 times against reality. The adjustment rule. Fast iteration beats perfect planning. Now let me show you exactly how to escape overthinking and start executing. The 24-hour rule. When you have an idea, take 1 action within 24 hours. This rule breaks the overthinking cycle at its root. Overthinkers let ideas sit. They marinate. They analyze. And with each passing day, the idea becomes more theoretical and less actionable. The 24-hour rule forces momentum. You have an idea. Clock starts. Within 24 hours, take 1 action, not perfect action, not complete action, just 1 action. Idea. Start a YouTube channel, 24-hour action, record 1-minute test video on phone. Don't post, just record. Idea. Write a book, 24-hour action, write 200 words of chapter 1. Rough, imperfect, but written. Idea. Start a business, 24-hour action, message 3 potential customers. Ask if they'd buy the product. Idea. Get fit, 24-hour action, do 10 push-ups right now, then 10 tomorrow. Why this works? Reason 1. Creates momentum. Once you take first action, second action is easier, third easier still. Reason 2. Converts idea into reality. Ideas are abstract. Actions are concrete. Action makes idea real. Reason 3. Prevents overthinking. Can't overthink when you're already moving. Action kills analysis paralysis. Reason 4. Provides immediate feedback. Even small action gives you data. This feels right or this needs adjustment. The 24-hour rule. 1 small action beats endless thinking. Why 5 minutes of action greater than 5 hours of planning? Action reveals what planning conceals. Overthinkers believe more planning leads to better execution, but planning has diminishing returns that turn negative. The planning value curve. First hour of planning, high value, establishes direction. Second hour, moderate value, identifies major obstacles. Third hour, low value, addressing unlikely scenarios. Fourth hour, minimal value, over-optimization of details. Fifth hour, negative value, creating false certainty about unknowables. Hours 6 plus, actively harmful, reinforcing overthinking habit. Compared to action, first 5 minutes of action immediately reveals what's actually difficult versus what you thought would be difficult. You thought X would be hard, actually easy. You thought Y would be easy. Actually hard, you never considered Z, but it's the actual bottleneck. 5 minutes of action taught you what 5 hours of planning couldn't. Action reveals, Your actual skill level, not imagined. The real obstacles, not theoretical. What people actually want, not what you think they want. Where you need help, not where you think you need help. What's energizing versus draining, can't predict this. Unknown unknowns, can't plan for these. The action first principle, plan for 1 to 2 hours max, then act, learn from action, adjust plan based on reality. One question that forces execution. What's the smallest action I could take right now? This question bypasses overthinking completely. Overthinkers get stuck thinking about the entire project. How do I build this whole business? How do I write this entire book? How do I completely transform my fitness? The scope is overwhelming, so they think instead of act. The question shrinks the scope to one action, not how do I build a business, but what's the smallest action? Send one sales email. Not how do I write a book, but what's the smallest action? Write one paragraph. Not how do I get fit, but what's the smallest action? Do 5 push-ups. The chain reaction, ask, smallest action, answer, send 1 email, do it. Takes 5 minutes. Ask, what's next smallest action? Answer, follow up with 1 call, do it. Takes 10 minutes. Ask, what's next smallest action? Answer, schedule demo, do it. Takes 5 minutes, 20 minutes, 3 actions, real progress. Alternative, overthink for 2 hours, 0 actions, 0 progress. Why this question works. Reason 1, makes starting impossible to resist. Can't say too big when action is smallest possible. Reason 2, creates immediate momentum. One small action leads to next small action. Chain begins. Reason 3, eliminates perfectionism. Can't perfect one small action, just do it, move to next. Reason 4, proves capability immediately. Completing small action builds confidence for next action. The execution question, ask it, answer it, do it, repeat. High performers don't think less, they think while doing. This is the critical distinction. Overthinkers believe high performers have it figured out before they start, that they've thought through everything, eliminated all uncertainty, have perfect clarity. Wrong. High performers have just as much uncertainty, just as many unknowns, just as much imperfect information. The difference, they don't wait for certainty, they create it through action. Overthinker approach, encounter uncertainty, stop, think, research, plan, wait for clarity, still uncertain. Think more. Result, stuck, no progress, perfect understanding of why it won't work. High performer approach, encounter uncertainty, act anyway, get feedback, adjust, act again, learn through doing. Result, moving forward, imperfect progress, deep understanding of what actually works. High performers don't think less, they think differently. They think, what can I test? Not, what could go wrong? They think, what's the smallest experiment? Not, what's the perfect plan? They think while doing. Overthinkers think instead of doing. The shift, from thinking your way forward to acting your way forward. Now you understand how to break overthinking. Take action within 24 hours. 5 minutes of doing beats 5 hours of planning. Ask for the smallest action. This will get you moving, get you executing, get you out of your head. But there's one more layer. Because overthinking is a symptom, there's a deeper pattern underneath. The overthinking, the procrastination, the self-sabotage. They're all surface behaviors. Beneath them is a core pattern that's running automatically. A pattern that keeps you small, keeps you safe, keeps you from realizing your potential. And most people never see this pattern because it's subtle, gradual, operating below conscious awareness. If you want to identify the hidden pattern quietly ruining your potential, watch the final video. Because execution fixes the surface, but addressing the core pattern fixes everything. The final video in this series reveals the erosion effect. How small compromises compound why capable people stay mediocre. The invisible pattern destroying your potential. How to reverse the erosion and reclaim your trajectory. Watch it now. One standard, greatness. One project, you.